Good morning, I waited family. So we are on day 7 or day 8. Sorry. We're on day 8. Yesterday was day 7. Today we are reading Genesis 25 and 26. I thought since they gave 2 chapters, they were pretty long, but I was looking through it. It's not that long. So we have a short reading day today. And I'm pretty excited about reading these 2 chapters. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll pray us in, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the reading. Great God, I thank you for this day, Lord. I thank you for the privilege of you reading your word. I thank you for the privilege of having your word. And God, I pray that you would give us eyes to see, give us ears to hear, God. Give us a heart to receive the seeds that you're planting in us through your word, God. Make our hearts good soil, God, for the harvest that you're wanting to bring forth from us through your word. I pray, God, that you would help us to retain what we're reading, help it to change and transform our lives and our minds, and even our bodies, and even the molecular structure of us, God. And I pray that you would have complete glory in this, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. So today we're reading chapters 25 and 26 in Genesis. And the first heading right here is the death of Abraham. So I'll go ahead and start reading. So Abraham married another wife, Abraham, whose name was Keturah. She gave birth to Zimram, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. Dedan's descendants were the Asherites, Letushites, and Lumites. Midian's sons were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. These were all the descendants of Abraham through Keturah. Abraham gave everything he owned to his son Isaac. But before he died, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them off to a land in the east away from Isaac. Abraham lived for 175 years, and he died at a ripe old age, having lived a long and satisfying life. That's what I want, a long and satisfying life. He breathed his last breath and joined his ancestors in death. His sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite. This was the field Abraham had purchased from the Hittites, and where he had buried his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who settled near Beer Lahai in the Negev. This word always messes me up. Ishmael's descendants. This is the account of the family of Ishmael, the son of Abraham through Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant. Here is a list by their names and clans of Ishmael's descendants. The oldest was Neboeth, followed by Kedar, Adbil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kadima. Those 12 sons of Ishmael became the founders of 12 tribes named after them, listed according to the places they settled and camped. Ishmael lived for 137 years. Then he breathed his last and joined his ancestors in death. Ishmael's descendants occupied the region from Havilah to Shur, which is east of Egypt in the direction of Ashur. There they lived in open hostility towards all their relatives. The births of Esau and Jacob. This is the account of the family of Isaac, the son of Abraham. When Isaac was 40 years old, he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean from Padan Aram, and the sister of Laban the Aramean. Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife, because she was unable to have children. The Lord answered Isaac's prayers, and Rebekah became pregnant with twins. Isn't that amazing? Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife. And one of my friends who had experienced a miscarriage realized that when she got pregnant, her husband had been praying for a few months that they would get pregnant, and God answered his prayers for them to have their next baby after a miscarriage. So the Lord answered Isaac's prayers. God answers the prayers of a righteous husband. And Rebekah became pregnant with twins, but the two children struggled with each other in her womb. So she went to ask the Lord about it. Why is this happening to me? She asked. And the Lord told her, the sons in your womb will become two nations. From the very beginning, the two nations will be rivals. One nation will be stronger than the other, and your older son will serve your younger son. And when the time came to give birth, Rebekah discovered that she did indeed have twins. The first one was very red at birth and covered with thick hair like a fur coat. So they named him Esau. Then the other twin was born with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when the twins were born. Esau sells his birthright. As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter. He was an outdoorsman, but Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home. So Jacob was a homebody. Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game that Esau brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day when Noah was cooking some stew, Esau arrived home from the wilderness, exhausted and hungry. Esau said to Jacob, I'm starved. Give me some of that red stew. This is how Esau got his other name, Edom, which means red. All right, Jacob replied, but trade me your rights as the firstborn son. Look, I'm dying of starvation, said Esau. What good is my birthright to me now? But Jacob said, first you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as the firstborn. Isaac deceives Abimelech. A severe famine now struck the land, as had happened before in Abraham's time. So Isaac moved to Gerar, where Abimelech, king of the Philistines, lived. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, do not go down to Egypt, but do as I tell you. Live here as a foreigner in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. I hereby confirm that I will give all these lands to you and your descendants. And the other day, my pastor read this verse 3 of Genesis 26, and he said, he pointed out that God, when he is with you, he also blesses you. So the evidence a lot of times of God's presence in your life is also his blessings upon you. And so God said, I hereby confirm that I will give all these lands to you and your descendants, just as I solemnly promised Abraham your father. I will cause your descendants to become as numerous as the stars of the sky, and I will give them all these lands. And through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. I will do this because Abraham listened to me and obeyed all my requirements, commands, decrees, and instructions. So Isaac stayed in Gerar. When the men who lived there asked Isaac about his wife Rebekah, he said, she is my sister. He was afraid to say she is my wife. He thought, they will kill me to get her because she is so beautiful. I mean, this beauty must have been like something else. But sometime later, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out his window and saw Isaac caressing Rebekah. Immediately, Abimelech called for Isaac and exclaimed, she is obviously your wife. Why did you say she is my sister? Because I was afraid someone would kill me to get her from me. Isaac replied, how could you do this to us? Abimelech exclaimed. One of my people might easily have taken your wife and slept with her, and you would have made us guilty of great sin. Then Abimelech issued a public proclamation. Anyone who touches this man or his wife will be put to death. Conflict over water rights. When Isaac planted his crops that year, he harvested 100 times more grain than he planted, for the Lord blessed him. Now Isaac planted in a famine and harvested 100 times what he planted. When God is blessing you, he became a very rich man, and his wealth continued to grow. He acquired so many flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, and servants that the Philistines became jealous of him. Philistines. So the Philistines filled up all of Isaac's wells with dirt. Haters. These were the wells that had been dug by the servants of his father Abraham. Finally, Abimelech ordered Isaac to leave the country. Go somewhere else, he said, for you have become too powerful for us. So Isaac moved away to the Gerar Valley, where he set up their tents and settled down. He reopened the wells his father had dug, which the Philistines had filled in after Abraham's death. Isaac also restored the names Abraham had given them. Isaac's servants also dug in the Gerar Valley and discovered a well of fresh water. But then the shepherds from Gerar came and claimed the spring. This is our water, they said, and they argued over it with Isaac's herdsmen. So Isaac named the well Esek, which means argument. Isaac's men then dug another well, but again there was a dispute over it. So Isaac named it Sitnah, which means hostility. Abandoning that one, Isaac moved on and dug another well. This time there was no dispute over it, so Isaac named the place Rehoboth, which means open space. For he said, at last the Lord has created enough space for us to prosper in this land. I believe it's Jonathan Nelson that has a song called Rehoboth. From there, Isaac moved to Beersheba, where the Lord appeared to him on the night of his arrival. I am the God of your father Abraham, he said. Do not be afraid, for I am with you and I will bless you. I will multiply your descendants and they will become a great nation. I will do this because of my promise to Abraham, my servant. Then Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. He set up his camp at that place, and his servants dug another well. Isaac's covenant with Abimelech. One day King Abimelech came from Gerar with his advisor Ahuzah and also Phicol, his army commander. Why have you come here? Isaac asked. You obviously hate me since you kicked me off your land. They replied, we can plainly see that the Lord is with you. So we want to enter into a sworn treaty with you. Let's make a covenant. Swear that you will not harm us. Just as we have never troubled you, we have always treated you well, and we sent you away from us in peace. And now look how the Lord has blessed you. So Isaac prepared a covenant feast to celebrate the treaty, and they ate and drank together. Early the next morning, they each took a solemn oath not to interfere with each other. Then Isaac sent them home again, and they left him in peace. That very day, Isaac's servants came and told him about a new well they had dug. We found water, they exclaimed. So Isaac named the well Sheba, which means oath. And to this day, the town that grew up there is called Beersheba, which means well of the oath. At the age of 40, Esau married two Hittite wives, Judith, the daughter of Beeri, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon. But Esau's wives made life miserable for Isaac and Rebekah. Why? So that was good. Few nuggets. When God is with you, evidence of his presence will be blessings. And then also Isaac receiving so many blessings and promises based on the covenant that God made with his wife, made with his father, and based on the obedience of his father. So yeah, this was good. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. You can join us in the Bible app, where we're also having like an open discussion and just writing down our takeaways from each day's reading. So the link to join that is also in the bio. If you want to join us in the Bible app, just to kind of have that accountability and seeing that check off by your name, letting you know that you've read and that you're keeping up with the day's readings. Okay, So I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning. And I pray that you have a blessed, super abundantly blessed day. Bye, y'all. Peace.